Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of learning institutions, where the pursuit of knowledge intersects with the supernatural. In this fourth installment of Most Haunted Schools and Universities in the World, we delve deeper into the shadowy halls and forgotten classrooms of some of the globe's most infamous educational sites. These places, steeped in history, ambition, and sometimes tragedy, are more than just centers of learning. They are vessels for ghostly legends, spectral encounters, and unexplained phenomena that continue to captivate the curious and terrify the brave. Schools and universities, by their very nature, are spaces of transformation. They are where young minds grow, friendships form, and futures take shape. But beneath the surface of these hallowed halls lies a darker narrative, one marked by untimely deaths, secret experiments, and unresolved traumas. From eerie dormitories to abandoned lecture halls, these institutions harbor secrets that refuse to stay buried, their walls whispering tales of sorrow and unrest long after the last bell has rung. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most haunted schools and universities across the globe, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of libraries cloaked in mystery, explore eerie laboratories rumored to have hosted forbidden experiments, and tread cautiously through dormitories teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from students, faculty, and paranormal investigators brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured during investigations, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of academia, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. Peking University, ghosts among the scholars. Nestled in the heart of Beijing, China, Peking University stands as one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the world. Founded in 1898, its sprawling campus is a blend of modern architecture and traditional Chinese design, home to countless scholars who have shaped the nation's intellectual landscape. Yet beneath its veneer of academic excellence lies a darker narrative, one steeped in ghostly legends, political turmoil, and the lingering presence of those who met tragic ends within its walls. One of the most enduring legends tied to Peking University revolves around the Weiming Lake, a picturesque body of water located at the center of the campus. According to local folklore, the lake is haunted by the spirit of a young woman named Li Mei, a student who drowned herself in the early 20th century after being rejected by her lover. Decades later, visitors walking along the lake's edge report seeing a figure in white standing on the water's surface, her reflection shimmering eerily under the moonlight. Others describe hearing faint sobs carried by the wind, accompanied by the sound of splashing water, as though someone is struggling to stay afloat. One particularly chilling encounter occurred when a group of students swore they saw Li Mei's apparition reaching out toward them before vanishing without a trace. Another haunting hotspot within the university is the Old Library, a Gothic-style building constructed in the early 1900s. Historical records indicate that the library served as a refuge for intellectuals during periods of political upheaval, including the Cultural Revolution. However, many of these scholars were persecuted or disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Today, visitors to the library report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices whispering phrases like "help me" and "they're coming," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. Others report seeing translucent figures seated at study tables, their faces obscured by ancient books, as though still poring over forbidden texts. The university's dormitories, particularly Building No. 6, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Students residing in this wing often report strange occurrences, lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of ink lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. A particularly unnerving incident involved a freshman who swore she felt cold fingers brush against her arm, followed by a whispered plea. "Don't leave me here." Paranormal investigators exploring Peking University have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the Weiming Lake and the old library. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless at the edge of the lake, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the university's reputation as one of the most active haunted sites in Asia. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Peking University continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of knowledge. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Peking University offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Ohio State Reformatory, a haunting legacy of education and punishment perched in Mansfield, Ohio. The Ohio State Reformatory stands as a paradox. A place designed to rehabilitate young offenders but instead became a breeding ground for despair, violence, and death. Opened in 1896, the reformatory initially housed juvenile delinquents and first-time offenders, with the goal of reforming them into productive members of society. Its imposing Gothic architecture, complete with towering spires and labyrinthine hallways, was meant to inspire awe and reverence. Instead, it became a symbol of suffering, earning a reputation as one of the most haunted institutions in the United States. One of the most persistent legends tied to the Ohio State Reformatory involves Warden Arthur Glatka, who served from 1935 to 1959. According to historical records, Glatka's wife, Helen, accidentally shot herself in the chest while reaching for a jewelry box in their apartment within the facility. Her death sent shockwaves through the community, and her memory has since become intertwined with the fabric of the reformatory. Visitors report seeing a woman in a flowing gown gliding silently through the corridors, her translucent form illuminated by dim light. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as she drifts by, while others report hearing soft humming emanating from empty rooms, believed to be Helen tidying up after guests long gone. Another prominent figure in the reformatory's haunted lore is believed to be none other than a former inmate named Robert Hood. Hood was incarcerated for a minor crime but faced brutal treatment at the hands of guards, leading to his eventual suicide in solitary confinement. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "Let me out," and "I can't breathe." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure resembling Hood pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a noose before vanishing without a trace. The reformatory's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see shadowy figures dragging invisible loads, their movements jerky and unnatural. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Ohio State Reformatory frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the facility's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty prisoner's uniform standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Ohio State Reformatory remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Helen Glatka, Robert Hood, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls. Heidelberg University, the phantom professor nestled along the banks of the Neckar River in Germany. Heidelberg University stands as a testament to centuries of academic excellence and cultural significance. Founded in 1386, it is one of Europe's oldest and most prestigious institutions, drawing scholars from around the globe. Its historic buildings, cobbled courtyards, and ivy-covered walls evoke a sense of timeless grace, yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker narrative, one steeped in ghostly legends, scholarly obsession, and vengeful spirits unwilling to fade into obscurity. One of the most enduring legends tied to Heidelberg University revolves around Professor Johann Friedrich von Schiller, a renowned philosopher and poet who taught at the institution in the late 18th century. Known for his radical ideas and passionate lectures, Schiller quickly became a beloved figure among students. However, his outspoken criticism of authoritarian rule earned him enemies within the university administration. According to local lore, Schiller was poisoned by a jealous colleague during a dinner party held in his honor. Decades later, visitors exploring the university report seeing a gaunt man in 18th century attire pacing anxiously near the lecture halls, his hollow eyes fixed on some unseen point in the distance. Others describe hearing faint footsteps descending the staircase, followed by a deafening crash, as though someone has fallen again. Another haunting figure associated with Heidelberg University is believed to be Marie Müller, a brilliant medical student who vanished mysteriously in the early 1900s. Historical accounts suggest that Marie uncovered unethical experiments being conducted by senior faculty members and was silenced before she could expose the truth. Her ghost is said to haunt the anatomy lab, appearing as a pale woman in a blood-stained apron. Students working late at night swear they feel icy breath on their necks, followed by the sensation of cold metal grazing their skin. Turning around, they see Marie standing inches away, her eyes gleaming with manic intensity before she vanishes into thin air. Adding to the university's haunted allure are the countless gatherings and celebrations that took place within its walls during its heyday. Many believe residual energy from these events remains trapped within the Adobe framework, manifesting as phantom sounds of laughter, music, and conversation. At night, when the mansion is bathed in moonlight, some visitors swear they can hear the distant strains of a piano and the low murmur of revelry, as though a party from another era continues to unfold. Paranormal investigators exploring Heidelberg University have captured compelling evidence of its supernatural activity. Thermal cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near the staircase and the balcony railing, where many of the tragedies unfolded. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "don't let go," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at the midpoint of the staircase before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Heidelberg University remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Marie or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the creaking floorboards, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the mansion's macabre legacy? Patterns across haunted schools and universities, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of schools and universities. From the opulent halls of Peking University to the somber grounds of the Ohio State Reformatory, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, These spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. What is it about haunted schools and universities that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through the most haunted schools and universities in the world to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted schools or universities yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.